So I did a small improvement on the Leatherman P4. You see those spaces? Those represent a tiny spacer. This side with the 4 tools, they had a thicker spacer for the scales and the main tools, and then they had this one, 2 and 3. I've added the 4th one because I felt the saw doesn't open so smooth like the rest. Yet funny thing is, on the other side there are just 2 spacers, the one between the main tools and the scales. Now the lock bars either way are moving, and I'm going to add, as you can see, this moves a little bit more, but this is mainly because on this side there are there are more spacers on this side than on the other one. You can prevent this by using thinner spacers on the scales, or you can grind them slightly on sandpaper. And yeah, I'm going to put a spacer here and here. For the inner tools between the 2 springs, I'm not going to put a spacer because I don't have one. As you can see, here on this side there are only 2 spacers, and there are these thick ones that go on the scales, and that because the scales are somehow pressed. That's the reason why they are thicker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra spacer here between the spring and the main tools. And the spacers came from a wave, a donor wave. I don't have a spacer with the correct inner diameter, but they work fine, just as good as one with the correct diameter. I know that because, as I said, this one over here is put by myself. And that's basically all that improvement. It would have been great to put another spacer between the springs and the inner subtools. That would also make them deploy much easier. The main reason why I'm going to put a spacer is because it reduces friction, and you can see here the marks from the friction. What's black over there, it's the place where I put the mock-up spacer, just to see. And this is the place where the original spacer is sitting, the one that sits on the scale, meaning this one. So as you can see, there is a lot of friction over there. I can't understand why Leatherman didn't want to put such a tiny piece who would make the deployment of at least the main tools much smoother than normally. Yeah, cost reduction, I don't think so. I don't think that such a spacer, a tiny spacer, costs. But yeah, who knows. If by chance you are concerned about the thickness of the spacers, the add-on, the extra spacers that you mount, you can slim down the original spacers using sandpaper. Yeah, you get the idea. But don't thin it too much, because they act actually like spacer, you know, it's pressed. The handle scale is pressed and you don't want your tool to rub on this edge. I hope I made myself clear. Let's put the spacer here. Space. Final frontier. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Should have brought my tripod. You can see? I hope you see. Yeah. You got the point. If you can, I strongly suggest to put a spacer between the spring and the tools, the sub tools, how I call them. It's going to make even easier and much more fun the deployment of the tool. As you can see, here are the marks. So this part is cleaned. You can see how it rubs off. So yeah, there's a lot of friction going on. So I am finished. You don't even actually can tell that I've mounted supplementary spacers over there, not like on the other side. I've tightened the tool. Actually, I've tightened it way more than it was, and everything works the same. But for me, it's just a little bit smoother, and yeah, I can say that I've personalized my Free P4.